In the meantime, a lot of big football stories out there, including this. Aaron Rodgers continues to be non-committal about playing for the Packers during the match. Rodgers said, quote, "We'll see" in regards to playing for Green Bay this upcoming season. Different golf tournament this weekend. He says, "We'll figure things out in a couple of weeks." Well, right now, Rodgers has a dozen days till the Packers report to training camp. If he fails to show up, he can start being fined $50,000 per day. So that obviously is the big day everyone has their eyes on, July 27th. Again, 12 days from right now. Again, Adam Schefter with the very latest. He'll join us live later this morning. Shefty.
The truth is, he doesn't want to be in Green Bay. He hasn't planned to be back in Green Bay. Now we'll see whether the Packers and him can come up with some sort of compromise that can lure him back there. But I don't believe, and I think Aaron Rodgers knows this, that he wants to be back there, nor plans to be back there at this time. He just hasn't come out and said it. He loves his coaches. He loves his teammates. He loves many of the people that he's worked with, but not everybody. The one thing I feel very comfortable and confident in saying is Aaron Rodgers does not want to play there anymore. The question is whether they can convince him to do it, and I don't know how that is going to work out.
So the clock is really ticking on this. Again, Marcus Spears will join us shortly. Mike T is here, and Jeremy Fowler is with us this morning. Jeremy, what is the sense you're getting from people around the league about what we expect to happen in 12 days?
Well, Greeny, there is a slightly growing sense in some league circles that they predict Aaron Rodgers will show up eventually. I've talked to 10 to 12 league officials last night and this morning, and more than half have say, yeah, overall expect him to show up because the options are scarce right now. He is a competitive guy. He could probably roll out of bed and play tomorrow. The Packers could issue a mea culpa publicly, try to smooth this out, rework his contract. You know, they give the qualifier that nobody truly knows right now but Aaron Rodgers. But I did speak to a source who worked with Rodgers in Green Bay who said, look, he appears to be in a really good space right now, and he'll be at peace with whatever decision he makes. Green Bay continues to wait this out.
Okay, and so Mike T, you know, a lot of people will look at this and say he wants to go the Tom Brady route. We see Brady find himself a new team, find himself a new situation, and seems extremely happy doing it. But there are significant differences between Rodgers right now and where Brady was.
Yeah, Greeny, fundamentally, Tom Brady was a free agent. He planned it out for a number of years. Aaron Rodgers is pissed at his bosses. It's a meaningful difference. He just can't indiscriminately go someplace else. And Jeremy alluded to, the compromise, in my opinion, would be, hey, come in, play this year. We will shorten your contract by 2 years because right now you have 2 additional years. And then at the end of the year, we'll figure it out. We'll know more of what we have in Jordan Love. And if things don't work out, you can move on and maybe we'll trade you, we'll franchise you, but we'll shorten the contract by 2 years.
To be clear, the Packers don't have to do that at all, right? I mean, a compromise, they're not, to the point you're making, they're not obligated to make a compromise or to do anything if they don't want to.
Right, and here's what's so interesting. The eyes of the football world will be on Jordan Love, and here's why. If he doesn't show up, when Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up, if Jordan Love plays well, Green Bay could say, hey, we're not doing anything. We're winning. We got a young quarterback we like. That's why we traded up for him. If they start off 0-3 and it's a train wreck, they'll do any compromise to get Aaron Rodgers in. Hey, we'll shorten the contract. We'll give you more money. We'll waive fines. That's why it's so meaningful, Greeny, how well Jordan Love plays early. It will dictate a lot of what happens next.
To be clear, though, I'm talking about a time frame of 2 weeks. You're talking about a time frame of 2 months. 0-3 wouldn't be till the end of September. You think this lasts until then?
Oh, yeah. I don't think anything happens until the regular season week. I don't assume that he'll come in for training camp. And I've been there, Greeny. If you're in a front office, you don't do anything until a player misses regular season games.
What an extraordinary thing that would be. All right, that continues to develop around us. Meanwhile, another really big story, and again, Shefty, as always, in the middle of all of the reporting. In Houston, it remains to be seen if Deshaun Watson will be eligible to play this season amidst his ongoing legal battles. Yesterday on 97.5 The Fanatic, Shefty was talking about Watson's immediate future and which team we should keep our eye on and possibly trading for him.
I'm operating to the assumption that somehow this will be settled or he will serve his discipline for the league or whatever punishment he has coming, whatever's fair and just. Once that is done, I just think that at that point in time, to me, the Philadelphia Eagles should be waiting. There's no team in the league with more draft capital than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are more equipped to make a run at Deshaun Watson than any team out there.
All right, obviously, and it's so complicated trying to talk about this because you have to compartmentalize. He has a very serious legal situation that is ongoing. But to Shefty's point, if and when that is resolved and he is eligible to play again, you were telling me this morning that it's something of an open secret in league circles that Philly is a likely destination?
No question about it, Greeny. If you think about their situation, they have 3 number 1 picks. I put them absolutely number 1 to try to acquire Deshaun Watson. He would make them an instant contender for years to come if they could get that done. Ironically, the other 2 teams, in my opinion, are Carolina and Miami. And Miami and Philadelphia made a trade shortly before the draft where Philadelphia has Miami's first-round pick next year. That may tip the balance in terms of they have a little bit more ammunition than Miami does to try to get Deshaun Watson. So if, as you mentioned, if his situation gets cleared up criminally and civilly, there's no question in my mind Philly's at the top of the list, and I would expect them to be very aggressive to try to get Watson.
Jeremy Fowler, what can you tell us?
Well, Greeny, Denver Broncos. This is a team that Deshaun Watson has been intrigued by. He likes the weapons they have, the overall football culture. And from what I'm hearing around the league, the Denver is at least monitoring the quarterback situation. And if Aaron Rodgers is not available, Deshaun Watson is a younger option. They do like Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, but they'll look at improving their team whenever they get the chance. And Deshaun Watson has the no-trade clause. Right now, his plan, I'm told, is to play this season. He's been preparing as if he will play. Just depends on when.
And you were telling me this morning that when it comes to league discipline, there is, as we've seen in many instances before, there's no timetable on this. So there's really no way of knowing and no obvious reason to try to guess when this will be resolved.
That's right, Greeny. And it bears repeating that Ben Roethlisberger, a long time ago, he was not charged any sort of criminal violations, but Roger Goodell still suspended him for 4 games. So even if he is clear criminally, Deshaun Watson, the standard's lower for the commissioner to ultimately suspend him. And as you said, we just don't know when that'll happen.
Okay, so again, Adam Schefter is going to join us live coming up off the top of our next hour, and we will have insight into Rodgers and into the possibilities with Deshaun and the story with Russell Wilson and a whole lot more. So we look forward to that. Meanwhile, this very serious news. This morning, NFL free agent Richard Sherman remains behind bars in Washington State, facing 5 possible charges, including 1 on suspicion of burglary domestic violence, which is a felony. Police say that Sherman may have been drunk when he first drove his SUV into a construction zone and crashed into a barrier earlier on Thursday morning. He then walked away from the scene. Police say that about 20 minutes later, Sherman tried to gain entrance into his in-laws' home in Redmond and allegedly damaged the front door. His wife called 911.
911, what are you reporting?
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk. Richard, please stop! Richard, please stop! He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself.
Police used a canine to arrest Sherman. His wife, Ashley Moss, told the Seattle Times, "At this time, we're going to make no statements except he didn't harm anybody. My kids were not harmed in the incident. He's a good person. This is not his character. We're doing all right, just trying to get him out. I want people to know no one was injured." Sherman will be in court later today, where a judge will determine charges and set bail. We'll take a short break. We will come back with much more on a great game in the NBA Finals last night, which begs the question, who really is the lead man on that Milwaukee team? Big Perk will weigh in with